guys are going to be, I know you guys are going to be super disappointed, but I don't have a song for you today. Today we are going to go ahead and review, oh wow, that's spelled wrong, quotation and underlining titles worksheet. Oh my goodness, that's awful. Okay, we're going to ignore that. That is how you spell quotation. So it says underlining major works when you write them in sentences. So when it's big, like a bigger piece of writing, like this over here, you have to underline. Or you can italicize too, but we're going to focus on underlining, okay? So these include books, movies, shows, okay? Anything that's a bigger thing, we underline it. When it is a smaller thing, for example, and they give us examples on here, poems, short stories, songs, essays, articles, we just put them in quotes. And quotes are when you put like, that's a quote, and then you always want to put it before and you want to put it after the title, okay? So small equals quotes. And then they already gave us examples, but I'll write them on here anyway. Poems, short stories, songs, essays, articles. Okay. We want to keep all of that in mind, all right? So it says, read each sentence below and underline or put quotes around each work title. Now, this is what I saw you guys struggling with before, too, is you guys didn't understand what the title was. So when people write it in here, you always do have to capitalize a title regardless of what it is. So, for example, in this first one, gosh, my big old head is in the way here. All right. We read The Hunger Games by Susan Collins. So you got this underlined, or I'm sorry, this capitalized. I need a bigger thing here. All right. The T is capitalized, the H is capitalized, the G is capitalized. And then Susan Collins is capitalized because it's the author, but we already know that that's the author, so we're not going to include that in the title. The title is what the book, what the movie, what the poem is called, okay? So that's your biggest clue, is if you see something underlined, that's probably the title of it. And our job today is going to be, are we going to underline or are we going to put quotes, and how do we know that? Okay, so you guys, I don't know if you've read this. It is a movie as well, but it says we read The Hunger Games by Susan Collins. So you know this is a book. However, books and movies, and you can go back up into your little cheat sheet up here, books and movies mean that we need to underline it. So what you need to do today is you need to underline just the title. Oh, that looks awful. We're going to use the line instead. Look at us getting good at Cami. Okay. The Hunger Games. That's all you underline. You don't underline by Susan Collins, okay? You just underline the title, whatever's capitalized in the title, okay? All right, the next one, the article. Here's the next biggest trick for today's work. You guys want to make sure you're looking and figuring out what clue they're giving you to tell you, ooh, that looks awful too, to tell you what it is that we are reading. We are reading the article. So our little brains are going to go up here and be like, article, article. Are we supposed to put quotes around articles, or are we supposed to underline? Okay, looks like an article is like a smaller part of a newspaper, if we're thinking about that. So articles, and it's in our small thing, so we have to put quotes. Now, quotes around the title. So first of all, we have to figure out what the title is. So we know the article. We don't underline what it is, because that's not the title. The article, What's for Lunch, was about what students like to eat for lunch, for school lunch. All right. Well, we've got two issues here. One, technically, this should have been capitalized. So I'm going to figure out how to make this smaller again. I don't know why I have such a problem with that. All right, I'm going to put the little 3 lines here for capitalizing, you know, because you're supposed to capitalize that. That's supposed to be capitalized because it's part of the title. But even though it's part of the title, we need to put quotes around the whole thing. Now you'll notice that was about isn't part of the title, right? The article is called What's for Lunch. So what we need to do is we need to put quotes on either side of the title. This is an article, it's smaller. So because it's smaller, we put quotes, and you put quotes on both sides of it. And the quotes, they have to have 2 lines, not 1 line. So don't try to get away with that one. All right. Yeah, so all of these give you guys clues as to what it is. We've got book here, right? It tells us what book it is. I'm having a problem here. Okay, book. That means that this is a book. Short story. One of these is a short story. This one's tricky because Charles is a short story written by Shirley Jackson. Just Charles is what the title of the story is, okay? We've got movie. We've got on television. So we have to decide, and we have to use kind of our background knowledge. Is Wizard of Oz a show or is it a movie? I hope you know that that's a movie. If you don't, we have a problem. Otherwise, it usually tells us what it is. Poem, movie. Okay? So use that knowledge with that's within the sentence. Go back up here and decide what you're Whoa! It doesn't like me right now. Decide what you're underlining, okay? All right. There are 2 sheets. You shall be fine. If you have a question about a particular one, please let us know. If you see any more issues with like that underline or the capitalization thing, you can go ahead and fix it, but we're not going to count that against you if you don't. Anyway, I think you'll be okay with this. It just takes a little bit of practice, and I mean, you kind of have to link up some ideas here, but just go through if you want to do what I did and figure out what they all are first before you start diving into putting quotes around it or underlining it. You can do that too. Please don't forget there are 2 pages. Okay, 2 pages. Try your best, do your best. I know English isn't everyone's favorite, but you know what, guys? We really need to do a good job with this and take our time and ask questions if we need to, all right? All right, ladies and gentlemen, have a lovely weekend.